Welcome friends, this one lens transformed my photography and I'm going to show you how, and it's not just because it's an exceptionally sharp lens, there are a whole host of other reasons. Because this lens is a super zoom and it goes to 500mm on the long end, and that means everything out behind me is now in reach. When I first got this lens, I saw it as a bit of a toy, something to go chasing after the birds in the sky, and didn't really think it would offer much more than just that. But the more I got used to it, the more I realised if you put some thought into this lens, you can get better compositions, you can take vignettes of the wider scene, and all of a sudden you find that you're putting a lot more thought into your photography, and that can help you get through a plateau if you're starting to stagnate. Now, before I get into the technical aspects of this lens and start talking about some of the photographs I've managed to capture with this, I think the thing that's really worth noting is its size. It is not much bigger than my 20-40-70. The lens hood is a little bit bigger at the end, but you take the lens hood off that and compare it to the 20-40-70 or the 15-35, it's not much bigger. It is an external zoom, and that's why they've managed to keep it in such a small form factor. But even fully extended, it's still not that cumbersome. If you look at some other zoom lenses like the Sigma 150-700, it comes with its own carry pouch and you need to sling that over your shoulder as well as having your backpack. Now, I did used to own that lens, but because it was such a hassle to carry about, I ended up selling it even though I thought it was a great piece of glass. So for functionality and portability, it gets a huge thumbs up from me. Now, you might have noticed that I've not told you what lens it is. Some of you may have already guessed, but that's not important because what we're really talking about today is zoom lenses in particular. The fact that I own the Canon 100-500 L series lens is a little bit insignificant because it's what you can achieve once you start to break into that zoom range. That said, the Canon 100-500 is a stunning lens and you can see plenty of reviews online about it and why you should consider it. So the added bonus about the size of the lens is the fact that you can now take it anywhere you want. No longer do you have to go a walk and find somewhere that you can hide all day to look at the birds and get them really close to you. With the reach of 500mm and up, you can bring them to you, and that is a whole lot of fun. One of the really unique things about a super zoom lens is the longer the reach, the more you compress the image from front to back, and that gives you some really nice, interesting results. So as a landscape photographer, I'm very tempted to just go 14mm, catch absolutely everything, fire a great sunset in there, and job's a good one. But then what I found when I started using the zoom, I couldn't capture everything, but all of a sudden I started to look at little parts of the landscape and tease little details out of it. I could start looking at texture. I could look at the way that the light was splaying over the hills instead of just being overawed by everything in front of me. And that really slowed me down and made me start thinking more about my composition. And that, as I'm always banging on about, is the key to good photography. Now, I promised at the start I wouldn't overly go into the Canon L series, but it would be remiss of me not to tell you just how good a lens that is. And with a price tag of £3,000, you would expect no less. It has a supremely fast autofocus system, and once it latches onto a bird, it doesn't let go. And as with any L series lens, it is robustly built, it has full weather sealing, and you can take it pretty much anywhere. You'll see lots of videos with people using lenses like these, even on the back of ships down in Antarctica. So you know it's well made, and you know you can trust it in the field. And that makes me feel far more relaxed at having spent £3,000 on the lens and knowing I'm not going to damage it. Okay, David, so enough about the lens. Why don't you show us some photographs? So that's exactly what I'm going to do just now. I'll throw some up on the screen. They were all taken with the 100-500 at varying different focal lengths. But I'm sure you'll agree that they're all very sharp. And again, the autofocus system just works a dream. And some of the wildlife shots that I'll show you just now would not have been achievable without that. But stick around, because after that, I'm going to talk about different models, different camera firms that make super zooms, and they don't cost £3,000. So don't be despondent if that's outside your price range just now. What I love about this lens is the absurd amount of detail that it captures. It means that you don't have to get so close to the scene that you disturb it, and you can watch from afar. In this shot, the detail in the moon is just incredible, and if you couple that with a decent body, when you crop into the image, you get even more detail. So as I mentioned throughout the video, composition still remains key. Just because you've got a telephoto zoom doesn't mean that you use it like a telescope. Take some time, have a look about, look through the lens when it's fully extended and see what scenes you can capture, because trust me, if you get good at this, it really makes a huge difference. So what other lenses are there out there if you're looking for a super zoom? Well, the good news is there's plenty of them and they don't all cost £3,000. For at least half that, we can look at some of the Sigma ones, the Sony ones, the Tamron ones, and I'll put them up on the screen just now and I'll put the price up alongside them. But you can save even more if you consider using a site like MPB, where you can pick these up second hand in excellent condition for at least a third off that price. So bear that in mind and make sure you check them out. And by the way, this video is not sponsored by MPB. So again, with any lens there has to be some drawbacks, and that's true in this case as well. What you find with a super zoom is the longer the focal range, the more you zoom in, the darker the aperture typically gets. Now you'll pay a lot of money to try and avoid that, and there are some lenses out there that are £20,000 that keep the aperture open even at 5, 6, 7, 800 millimeters. But for more consumer level lenses, you'll find that the aperture might go from f4 through to f8, f9 and sometimes even f11. And as you know, a darker aperture means less light. So if you're shooting in sunset, sunrise, then if you're zoomed all the way in, you really need to crank your ISO up, and that might bring too much digital noise in. So how do you get around that? Well, the number one thing to do is to use a tripod, and that's good if you're using landscape photography. But again, one of the features of a super zoom lens is trying to get wildlife shots. And if you're using a tripod with a slower shutter speed just to get enough light into the camera, then your subject, the fox, the bird, whatever it may be, is going to be very, very blurry, if at all recognisable. Another downside to these lenses are they are incredibly heavy. Now, I said at the start that the Canon 100 to 500 is not overly heavy, and I stand by that because it's such a compact size, but compared to other lenses, it does have a bit of heft about it. And when you start to look at things like the Sigmas and the Tamrons, because they're external zooms as well, they start to get a little bit heavy and they take up a lot of room in your bag, and that's even if you can fit it in your bag in the first place. And the last real downside is the price, but we've covered that. There is a wide range of different prices depending on what your budget is, and if you're willing to go second hand, you can snap up some phenomenal deals. So it's worth investigating. So as you can see, super zoom lenses are not one-trick ponies. As long as you're willing to put in the time, think about your composition, experiment a little bit, try using a tripod, try using it in daylight, using it handheld, capture some of those wildlife shots, you will see your photography come on. And the other good thing about using a long telephoto zoom lens is that you can really start to look at some minimalistic photographs, isolating boats out on a loch or maybe a log cabin on a hillside, just zooming right in and cutting out all the background so that you've just got that somewhere in your frame to give that nice artistic look. And if you'd like to try some minimalistic photography, then I'd recommend watching this video here. It gives you all the hints and tips you need. See you in the next one, guys.